The Shiunji Family Children, a romantic comedy anime adapted from Reiji Miyajima's manga, dives deeper into its controversial premise in its fourth episode, aired on April 29, 2025. Titled Respectfully, this episode continues to explore the emotional and relational fallout following the revelation that the 7 Shiunji siblings are not biologically related except for twins Arata and Uka. The episode centers on the escalating romantic tensions among the siblings, particularly focusing on Uka's confession to Arata and the ripple effects on the family dynamic. I was immediately intrigued by the episode's attempt to balance humor with the delicate subject matter, though I approached it with skepticism given the series' polarizing pseudo-incest framework. Following episode 3's amusement park outing, where Uka confessed her feelings to Arata, episode 4 shifts to the Shiunji household and a local park setting. Minami, having witnessed Uka's confession, confronts Arata during their morning workout, probing his intentions with a mix of curiosity and nonchalance. Meanwhile, Banri's playful teasing and Seiha's calculated observations add layers of complexity to Arata's predicament. The episode culminates in a private moment between Arata and Uka at a park where their twin bond is tested by Uka's bold romantic advances, leaving Arata visibly conflicted. The narrative sets up new questions about how the siblings will navigate their evolving relationships. The episode advances the central plot by intensifying the romantic entanglements sparked by the family's adoption revelation. Uka's confession, a carryover from episode 3, serves as a catalyst, prompting Minami's confrontation and highlighting the siblings' shifting perceptions of each other. No major revelations occur, but the episode effectively builds tension by focusing on Arata's internal struggle to reconcile his familial loyalty with emerging romantic feelings. I think it fulfills its role as a mid-season escalation within the 12-episode arc, deepening the stakes without resolving the core conflict. However, the pacing feels uneven, moments of introspection are rushed, while comedic interludes like Banri's teasing linger too long. I personally don't understand why the episode didn't explore Arata's perspective more thoroughly, as his indecision risks feeling repetitive. Arata, Uka, and Minami are the episode's focal points, with Banri and Seiha playing significant supporting roles. Arata's discomfort, evident in his hesitant responses to Minami's probing, reveals a new facet of his personality, a fear of disrupting the family's harmony. I really appreciate how his body language, averted gazes and clenched fists, conveys his turmoil, though I think his passivity borders on frustrating. Uka's boldness, particularly in the park scene where she leans close to Arata, showcases her determination to redefine their twin bond, but I'm against her rapid shift from sibling to romantic interest, which feels abrupt given their established dynamic. Minami's casual yet perceptive demeanor, highlighted in her workout conversation, adds depth, suggesting a pragmatic acceptance of the family's new reality. Seiha's analytical comments and Banri's flirtatious jabs are consistent with their archetypes, but I don't think they show significant growth. The characters' actions align with prior episodes, though Uka's arc stretches believability. The episode grapples with themes of love, identity, and the boundaries of family. The central question, can familial bonds evolve into romantic ones, is explored through Uka's pursuit and Arata's resistance, challenging societal norms around adoption and sibling relationships. Minami's non-judgmental stance reflects a theme of acceptance, contrasting Seiha's earlier concerns about biological taboos. I think the episode uses these interactions to probe the fluidity of identity in unconventional families, but I didn't like how it sidesteps the ethical complexities, risking a trivialization of the premise. The comedic tone often undercuts the gravity of these themes, which I find undermines the narrative's potential for meaningful commentary. The episode introduces minimal world building, focusing instead on the Shiunji household and a local park. A brief mention of the family's wealth and public visibility reinforces their status in Seiho, Tokyo, but no new cultural or historical elements are explored. I also anticipate that future episodes might delve into the siblings' adoption origins, as the lack of context about their past feels like a missed opportunity. The setting remains functional but unremarkable, serving primarily as a backdrop for character interactions. The dialogue oscillates between witty and formulaic. Minami's probing questions like, "Did something happen between you and Uka-chan?" are delivered with a natural cadence, enhancing her characterization. However, Uka's romantic declarations, such as "I've always seen you differently," feel cliched, echoing generic rom-com tropes. I think the writing shines in quieter moments, like Arata's hesitant responses, but the reliance on comedic banter, Banri's exaggerated flirtations, for instance, dilutes the emotional weight. The script is competent but lacks the sharpness needed to elevate the premise beyond its controversial hook. The episode evokes a mix of discomfort, curiosity, and mild amusement. The park confrontation between Arata and Uka is the most impactful moment, its tension palpable as their twin bond teeters on the edge edge of transformation. However, I didn't like how the comedic elements, Bonri's teasing, for instance, undermined the narrative's emotional depth, leaving me more frustrated than moved. The episode prompts reflection on the nature of familial versus romantic love, but its lighthearted approach limits its lasting impression. I personally don't understand why the series leans so heavily on humor when the premise demands more sensitivity. Episode 4 of the Shiunji Family Children is a visually appealing, competently crafted installment that advances its romantic comedy arc but struggles with tonal consistency and narrative depth. Its strengths lie in the strong voice performances, vibrant animation, and moments of character-driven tension, particularly between Erida and Uka. However, the uneven pacing, reliance on clichés, and failure to fully engage with the premise's complexities are notable weaknesses. I think the episode achieves its goal of escalating the siblings' romantic conflicts but falls short of delivering a cohesive or thought-provoking experience. I'm against dismissing it outright as the character dynamics remain engaging, but I hope future episodes address the ethical nuances with greater care. Looking ahead, I anticipate the series will either lean into its provocative premise or risk alienating viewers by prioritizing fan service over substance.